I grew up with the philosophy that sport can help you become a better person. And I want to be remembered as somebody who used their tennis to impact other people. I'll take that. These are the courts I grew up playing on. When I was a kid, my dad and I, we were looking for us or whatever, you knew we'd probably be out here on this first court.
One of the biggest sponsorship agreements in tennis history has been reached between Coco Gauff and Rolex. Let's just say that the tennis community reacted strongly. Some players are happy for her, but others, let's just say a few smiles seemed a little phony. Tell me, are people uncomfortable with Coco's success, or is it simply jealousy? The news was made public early this morning. Rolex and Coco Gauff have a formal partnership. That Rolex, indeed. The brand that radiates luxury, prestige, and heritage. Roger Federer, Serena Williams, and Tiger Woods have all participated in it. It is now appropriate to include Coco Gauff in that particular group.
Tell me about your ambitions in tennis.
What do you mean?
And trust me when I say that the internet went crazy. Tennis fans were thrilled. The media's timelines were filled with her photos. The brand community essentially said, yeah, she's the future. But not everyone was smiling since, at some point throughout the tour, several golfers probably choked on their protein shakes when they saw the headline, Coco Gauff x Rolex. Aryna Sabalenka is at the top of that list of subdued emotions. Let me make it clear that Aryna did not say anything before everyone hurries. However, tennis fans on the internet noticed that she suddenly stopped talking following the news, which is funny because she usually gets rather active when big articles are out. She is the kind of player who talks about her grind, brand relationships, training, and successes. She talks about these things without hesitation. But this time, there was total quiet, and everybody noticed. The issue is that there is more to Coco's new collaboration with Rolex than just sponsorship. It's an assertion. Relationships are not the only thing that Rolex provides. They pick athletes like Federer, Serena, Coco, and other legends who have defined entire eras. That is somewhat important. It suggests that instead of merely investing in a player, they are making an investment in a legacy. The intriguing thing is that, despite her strength, accolades, and absolute dominance, Aryna Sabalenka hasn't really gotten that kind of recognition off the court. She's a Grand Slam champion and has an excellent rating, yet it must hurt a little because Coco is much more influential worldwide. There is already a noticeable difference in the way brands move. Nike, New Balance, Barilla, Bose, and now Rolex all have Coco as their face. She hasn't even reached her peak yet. She is everywhere. From runway shows to magazine covers, she is tailored for this new generation of sports heroes. Despite her talent, Aryna hasn't been able to break over the same barrier. It's not because she's untalented either. This is because Coco provides more than just strength. She's a presence.
She's about 5 or 6 years old, and we were watching Australian Open. Serena wins. I remember saying, man, she's going to be the GOAT. And she said, what is the GOAT? I said, that's the greatest of all time. She's like, I want to be a GOAT. So I ran out and bought a racket. That's kind of how it all started.
When Rolex released the promo video, it was a huge hit. There was more to it than just timepieces. It has to do with legacy, family, and growth. At the start of the film, Coco was shown training on the same Delray Beach courts where she grew up. You could hear her say, these are the courts I grew up playing on. My dad and I might be found here. The scene then switches to her father recalling how she had said she wanted to be a go-ahead after witnessing Serena's success. Rolex skillfully captured the spark that sparked everything at that exact time. It wasn't ostentatious. It wasn't too noisy. It was important. They told Coco's story as though it were being recorded in history. I grew up watching Serena, and today young ladies follow her as a performer.
I think I just enjoyed the fact that, everything is on your racket, your terms. My first tournament that I won, I was 8. It was Little Mo in New York City. It was the first time that we felt like I could do something far in this sport.
It's a marketing wonder because Coco doesn't have to try to be empathetic. You can identify with her. She is intelligent but young, confident but modest, competitive but grounded. Rolex knows she's the whole package. Online fans immediately started drawing comparisons. Coco is getting Rolex discounts while others are still complaining about line calls. A couple tennis players toss rackets. Coco signs contracts. Even if the sarcasm was harsh, it shows how other people view her. She is not your average athlete. She is a symbol of the next generation, with both grace and perseverance. Moreover, it's not only about money, to be honest, which is why jealousy strikes so fast. Relates to respect. The attention that others have been seeking for years is now being given to Coco.
I was 10 in this picture. It was a big deal because to tell somebody you're a national champion, they think you're legit. When I kind of made my name in the sport at Wimbledon 2019, this is one of the dresses that I wore throughout.
It reminds me of Serena's first big Puma contract. Others questioned her, saying she was too young, too chatty, and too different. But Serena is now a powerful corporate force. Because Coco is using the same road, some people find it uncomfortable. To be honest, he has been grinding for years. She has expressed that she doesn't always get the same attention or recognition. She has also hinted in interviews that sometimes beauty matters more than performance. Seeing Coco sign a Rolex deal at the age of 21 must be distressing.
Remarkable. She's the youngest qualifier in history, and now she's about to compete against her idol, Venus Williams.
It felt like a storybook.
Her game is so calm and so focused.
I just remember not looking at the scoreboard the entire match because I didn't want to see her name. The hardest points of the match were the match points. It felt like I was holding my breath. I don't want to be known as the girl who got close.
Coco is more than just a tennis player. She represents something bigger. Her grandma integrated schools in the 1950s. Her father used empty courts to build a dream factory. Her mother taught her self-control and forbearance. All of that history is now being applied by Coco. She is dressed in more than simply upscale apparel. She is changing what that luxury means. According to Rolex, they didn't choose Coco at random because of her commitment to integrity and quality. These days, companies want sportsmen to be more than just prize winners. And Coco always has that with her. She has talked about her family, her values, and her idea that you can utilize your racket to enhance the world. These are more than just beautiful quotes. That is the foundation of her whole idea. Businesses want to identify with such mindset. Meanwhile, the tennis community is keeping an eye on all of this. The whispers are also practically audible. Why her? Why so fast? Is it just public relations? The answer is simple. It's because Coco gets it. She understands the expectations placed on modern athletes. Voices, not just those of players, victors, and icons. Without a doubt, Aryna is a superb athlete. But Coco has the special ability to make anything bigger. Communication. When she succeeds, it's both a cultural and a personal victory. Because of this, brands queue for her. This partnership with Rolex is the cherry on top. This confirms Coco Gauff's official admission into the elite area. She is no longer the rising star. She is the star. However, this is where it starts to become funny on the internet. Everything inevitably becomes dramatic. Within hours, fans were editing photos, making memes, and writing fake captions like, Aryna checking her wrist. For example, Rolex is still unavailable. The memes were nasty but humorous. Twitter even had a terrific time playing tennis. The Rolex signed Coco because this is her moment. One tweet claims that Aryna will begin donning a Casio as a form of protest. Someone else made a comment on your behalf. The internet is that. True, but savage. Because this is actually more than just a cheap watch. Relates to timing. Coco's timing has always been perfect. After winning her maiden Grand Slam and defeating Venus at the age of 15, she became one of the youngest athletes in history to sign a contract with Rolex. Every aspect of her climb is poetry. She is a real-life illustration of how talent and sincerity can work together to achieve success. She doesn't pursue it, which definitely makes others uncomfortable. Rather, it comes to her. Since Coco is not out, they are pleading for attention or doing noisy interviews in an attempt to establish themselves. The world observes that she just works. Her steady, collected confidence is her true flex. While others are counting ranks, she appears to be counting blessings and brand ties. Furthermore, let's be honest, Rolex didn't only sign Coco as a result of her behavior. For the forthcoming project, they signed her. She is the kind of player whose career is still in its infancy. She will continue to rule for at least 10 more years. Furthermore, Rolex knows that they want to grow with her. This is the reason this deal is so powerful. The campaign lasts for a long time. Coco is wearing more than just a Rolex, it's a long-term legacy decision as a result. She has on a Rolex watch. Timeless, graceful, powerful, and accurate. And for someone like Aryna, who has been fighting for every last piece of respect, witnessing that must be, to put it kindly, frustrating. But Coco was deserving of it. Every single second of it. The difference was evident as soon as the Rolex partnership surfaced on social media. Every tennis page, fashion account, and sports journal published Coco's picture prominently. It was not just an announcement. There was a takeover. But the deal itself wasn't the primary subject of discussion. It was the answer. Within minutes, fans started comparing it to the situation at Aryna Sabalenka. Comments filled timelines. For example, while Coco is landing international brand partnerships, Aryna is still struggling with line judges and ought to start donning a swatch right once. Whether or not fans recognize it, there is some tension between the two celebrities, so it was typical online mayhem. Part fact, half fun. They are competitors. Coco's climb has been quick, powerful, and skillfully done. Aryna's has been strong, perceptive, and deserving. Despite the legitimacy of both paths, only one seems to get the majority of marketing attention, and that distinction hurts. Hose's career was built on power and pure devotion. She is a powerful force on the court. There is no denying that. But Coco's strength and poise were the cornerstones of her career. She is skilled in handling spectators, the pressure, and the media. She feels comfortable walking in front of the camera. When an Aryna does, it might occasionally feel forced. It's not a shadow. That's how branding works. Therefore, when a company like Rolex, which is known for elegance and consistency, selects someone to represent them, it's not just about results. Relates to perception. Furthermore, Coco Gauff has an immaculate reputation. Rolex loves poise, class, and heritage. Coco has all three. She poses as a 21-year-old veteran wearing a 30-year-old body. She doesn't go after drama. She doesn't tweet cryptically after losing. She just works hard, achieves her goals, and smiles. Moreover, shows appreciation, shows respect for her followers, speaks well, and dresses nicely. She has never caused a scandalous headline or gotten into a fight. That's great for a company like Rolex. Coco also doesn't quite deserve it. Her story is a wonderful fit with the Rolex legacy. Founded on accuracy, discipline, and timeliness. Remember what she said. According